Oh, hey guys! Today we switched to widescreen. Wow, cinema. Yep. Um. Today I'm going to be talking about jealousy versus inspiration. What are the similarities and what are the differences? Because there are definitely overlap. Oh, okay. I haven't even woken up fully. Okay, so number one, why are we talking about this? Well, I I opened up Discord like uh 30 minutes ago, and I saw someone who posted very cool stuff, and then they reminded me of me, and I was like, bruh, why can't I do this already? Because they had, like, I don't know, there was this guy called Chris. Oh, I gotta stretch. There was this guy called Chris who was like really good at modeling. Um, I think, and they worked with like virtual production, which I've also done, but I was like kind of very young, so I didn't. Well, very young. I was basically just wait. Yeah, no, I had just turned 18 until like now, and then that's when I started, and then when I got kicked away, I was 20, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like, bro, wait, what? I don't know. He had like already set up like a few companies, and I was like, what, bro? I haven't even got my own, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to do taxes and stuff. Like, what? Then I was like, oh, bro, do I just quit? Do I just stop? Just fucking kill myself or something? Obviously, I didn't do that because that would be cringe, because that would just be admitting defeat. And that brings up like inspiration and stuff, because inspiration can, well, no, jealousy can look a lot like inspiration, because you see someone else have something that you want, and then jealousy is like the ugly version of inspiration. Inspiration, it's like, yo, I want to do this that this other person does, and whoa, okay, I gotta do stuff to achieve this, and then like you actually go and start do the work. But with the jealousy, it's more like you see the thing you want, someone else having what you want, and you get mad and like do bad stuff towards them, in my opinion. I don't even know what the definition of jealousy is, so I'm just speaking out my ass right now. um but yeah, I feel like jealousy can be healthy if you use it correctly. Like, me understanding that, yeah, I do have a lot of overlap with that guy, and there are some of the goals that we have, or he has made already, that I have wanted to get to. But I also know that there are probably different, like, fundamental differences between our brains, and like the opportunities that I've gotten versus him, or any other things. And yeah, I realized that, like, I don't wanna, I don't wanna, I don't know. I just kind of wanna do whatever I do and just, I don't know. I think the best, like, currently, I think the best way for me to, like, earn a living and stuff, like, the thing I want the most is to, like, build a community and then have, like, some form of, like, crowd support stuff, because then I don't have to sell a specific product. Maybe I could sell, like, posters of something that I make, but I don't know. I think I would rather just make everything and then either document it somehow or just, I don't know. I have big dreams, but I I have no idea how to achieve them. But I do often end up achieving stuff that I don't even know that I can. Just like learning stuff about Blender. Like I used to think like, oh yeah, okay, I can do this stuff, and then I got a job within like 3D virtual production, and I learned more in 2 weeks than I had over the span of like 2 or 3 years on my own. And I was like, yo, okay, I gotta fucking put in the hours, bruh. And then I don't know, I burnt myself out. And since the company that I worked at was kind of like, I don't know, management hell. They didn't really do stuff very by the books, and me being autistic kind of, I don't know, I didn't enjoy. Well, I didn't realize that I didn't enjoy it. I think, I don't know, it was all just like I couldn't comprehend it properly. Like I was doing very like weird stuff. Like I was just running around the office because I had like, I don't know, I forgot it was a workplace, and like, I don't know. And then also the the shame that I was put that I was given from like all of the problems with, or the symptoms of autism and ADHD, and like them not understanding that it's actually not just something you can turn off. And I don't know, it's just, instead of them, no, instead of them um like seeing the problems that I had and like helping me find a way to overcome them, or like find ways to change the work to fit my how my brain works. I feel like it was more like, oh, you just gotta do it better. You just gotta push yourself, and like I had pushed myself at like 200% for like the last 2 years there, and it just became too much. And then when they asked, or then when they gave me the requirement sheet, or like the thing to finish my degree, like 6 months before I had to do it. It was like 40 things that I have never been good at. Like I've never been good at like management or uh, time related stuff, like organizational stuff, because of like ADHD has a lot of problems with like organizing and stuff. And when I got all of these like 40 things, I don't remember how many there were, but in my brain there were like 40 things or like more things that I've been struggling with for my entire life, and then just drop it on my shoulders a few months before I have to like have a finished product. And then I don't know, I had to learn, I felt like I had to learn so many new things, and like I had to learn how to concept, like draw concepts and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I gotta learn how to draw. Okay, how do I do that? Okay, I just draw a bunch. And then they say like, oh, you can't just be here to learn. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that is why I'm here. What do you mean I can't be here if I'm just gonna learn? Like, you just gave me 40 things I needed to learn in like a few months, and I can't sit here and learn. Like, what? And I don't know. I just couldn't think correctly. Like, I thought my family was conspiring against me, and like everyone just hated me or whatever. And I don't know. I just kind of like fell deeper and deeper into, like, I don't know if it was a depression episode or if it was just like me getting completely burned out. Um, but yeah, everything just became really hard, and I just couldn't even get out of bed. Like, I had a very hard time getting out of bed. Like, I needed to double my dosage of ADHD meds, and I had to like chug uh like coffee and stuff. I know many people with ADHD like have the opposite effect of caffeine, but I'm very sensitive to literally anything. So when I drink like one cup of coffee, I'm dancing. Like, I'm vibing the entire day. And now if you if you think like, okay, one small cup of coffee is like all I need for like an entire day. Quadruple that and the double or triple the ADHD medication, and do that for like a year. That was kind of what I was operating on, just to like not be suicidal. I was literally just thinking about how do I fucking end my life on the way home, or like, can I just go into the bathroom and just take a knife, or like, will will people be able to stop me if I do this and that? Like, yeah. So it wasn't really healthy, but I didn't know it because I'd heard like, oh yeah, any other 3D business would be twice or 10 times as much stress, and like, oh shit, okay, I just want to finish my degree. And then I was like, bro, okay, I guess I'm just weak because I can't take the pressure of whatever. Then I don't know, it just became more and more problems. And then I got fired, of course, because they didn't enjoy me just running around and like not being able to do a single thing, because I did at, at there was a point where just I just sat at my desk, like I didn't even do anything, and I couldn't even do a single thing. Like, people gave me basic the most basic things. Like, now I would do it in like 5 minutes, and I knew that I could do it in 5 minutes back then as well, because I would say like, oh yeah, that's very easy, I can do that in 5 minutes. And then 3 days go by and I still have not made it, and they've just like, what is going on? And after the fact, I know this is probably uh, a autism burnout or meltdown, or not breakdown. One of them is like you start screaming like externally, very visible, like, oh yeah, this person is struggling, but the other is just internal. you're just screaming internally and like, what the fuck is happening? Why can't I even open a fucking milk carton? Type vibe. And I didn't know this. I had also been like masking for a long time, ever since I think when I was 16, uh, I, or before somewhere around 16 years, I told myself, okay, I'm just not gonna, I don't wanna, I'm gonna start high school now, and I don't wanna be the autistic kid. So I just wanna, because I ended up at a new school in a new town. Nobody knew me, and therefore I was like, I could start fresh. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not the autistic guy. I'm just the ADHD guy. If anyone like wondered what problems I had, because I was still in like a special ed class, which was kind of a bad thing. I think that school was just really shit because it wasn't, the teachers weren't very, or at least one teacher wasn't really, um didn't really see any good in us. They were just like, no, you can't do this fun thing. You need to be the school's production line so we can earn enough money to keep going. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to be a fucking robot. This is gonna be fucking, why? And so I just dropped out. And I'm very happy for this because the next year I ended up at the school where I basically just found many versions of myself. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nah, I don't know. It's weird. I became the most projecting piece of shit there ever was. But it was kind of fun because I don't know. Um, I did end up in that um, virtual production job because of one of the teachers. They were like, "Yo, Marius, do you wanna work at this and that place?" Or no, she was like, "Yo, Marius, I know this guy who's like the owner of this business called blah 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 blah." I'm not gonna give them promotion. Yeah, I'm salty. Nah, I'm not. But yeah, a little bit maybe. But she was like, "Oh yeah, this company," and I'm like, "Oh, I already talked to them, and they said nah." But then she was like, "Yeah, but I know this guy. Like I've worked with him before," and she was like, "I can ask him for a favor," and then I was like, "Yo, okay." um, and then I got the job. I wasn't really working there, but I was um through the school system. I was supposed to be there 1 day a week, but I ended up being there every day of the week, um, unpaid, like an unpaid intern. And I used to sit there for like, I would get uh, like out of school for the day, and then I would like sprint up to the office because it was right next to the school. Like 5 minutes walk from my classroom to the inside of that office. Um, and so I would sit there until 11 p.m. and I would go home and I would be exhausted, but I would be so happy because I got the I got the chance to like learn so much. And it was very cool because it was like so official. I'm like, yo, this is so cool. And it it just, I don't know. I was just, it was more like a cult when you look back at it now. I understand why people said it was a cult. Even people who just knew of the company. It was like a I don't know. I spoke with somebody from NRK, which is like the state-owned thing, and they said like, "Oh yeah, that company is a cult, bro." And I'm like, "No, what? No, I work there. It's not a no." And then when oh my god, there was one person who like actually used to call out um like when management did something weird or like not very like very unbased behavior from the management. They would be like, yo, this is not right, bruh. And then everyone would, including me, would be like, oh, you're just a hater, bruh. And then they they got laid off with the like all of the cool people got laid off when the business almost went bankrupt because the one person in management, I'm not gonna say who, spent a whole lot of money on an event, which yeah might be fine because it's yeah I don't know. In my opinion, it's like they were very bombastic and like, oh yeah, how can we make this newsworthy? And then they never made it newsworthy, even though they tried very hard. I think at least I don't know. I'm pretty sure nobody cares. Um, but they really wanted people to care, so they thought like, oh yeah, I need to spend a boatload of money so people care. Because I think people used to care, and now it's just like, oh yeah, we've seen this guy so many times, and it's like not that impressive or whatever. Because the things that we made were impressive like several years ago, in my opinion. Like the things we were making pales in comparison to like anything. They used to have like the claim like, oh yeah, we're the best in virtual production, real-time virtual production. And that might have been true like a few years ago, but now it's like, no, no, you are not. And I don't know, it's kind of wonky because I don't know, but they've been there for like a long time and they've had like repeatedly problems with stuff. And I don't know, I'm kind of happy that I had the experience and also not happy at the same time, because if I hadn't had the experience, I wouldn't have learned as much of Blender that I have. And I also wouldn't have the knowledge that I don't want to work in a company. Like I want to work for myself, I think, because I don't want to fulfill someone else's vision. I want to fulfill my own visions. And I've realized that awards and stuff don't really matter. Like when you work in a 3D environment type, like a 3D, yeah, whatever. Um, you're kind of like worked to death basically. You're just put on edge all the time, continuously, and you're not. It's not. You're not focusing on like what you've already achieved. You're only focusing on, okay, what do I need to do, and so you're never like realizing like, oh my god, I actually made this thing that was viewed by 100 million people. And like you never realize like, okay, getting two Emmy nominations, like how much is that actually supposed to value for, like how much is that actually, how much does it actually mean? Like I don't know how much two Emmy nominations are. And I don't know, I feel like it's just nothing. Like, I used to think like, oh my god, an Emmy, it would be so cool if I had one. And then we lost, but we got nominated. So I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to like. I'm not gonna tell people like, oh yeah, I got nominated for two Emmys, and then like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I didn't do anything in that project, even though I tried. But it was just too official. I just felt so. I don't know. I felt like I had to make, or I thought I felt like I wasn't good enough because I saw that I wasn't good enough. Like, I felt like the stuff that I made, or it wasn't just a feeling, it was just like, clearly you could see that my stuff wasn't actually that good. And I was like, oh, these people spend like so much money, and I'm just sitting here just making cubes and stuff. Like, bruh, why can't I have like a simpler thing to do? Why do I need to make this shit? I don't know. And I just lost more and more inspiration and more faith in the company because people got laid off. Like, all the cool people got laid off. There was one guy left that I had connection with, but when when one of the guys became a father, like the second time, he was having like uh, parental leave, and I think we were like three people total in the office at like the later points. And since I didn't have anyone to like connect with anymore, I just got really depressed because I didn't have anyone to like talk with, I felt. And I didn't have anyone to like help me feel like valued anymore, because the people who were left were like uh, the like very important for business, but had very little for like emotional stuff. Which, I mean, it makes sense that that they removed like the non like the not 100%. No, they were all freelancers. There was one guy who was working there as a freelancer for way longer than was allowed, I think. Like, a few years over the limit of like, okay, you gotta, yeah, like, I don't know. He told me like he'd been asking to get hired, and they'd been just like, no, no, we're good with having you a freelancer. And then they just kept them as like a freelancer. And then um I don't know, there were many things I look back on that I'm like, bruh, that is kind of like wish-washy business type stuff. And I also realized from like the guy in charge that I should not be in charge of a group of humans. Like, I have very many things in common with the guy in charge, and so I'm like, oh yeah, I should not become him, because I don't want to become him, because he's kind of, I don't know, I don't like him. I was always pretty like scared of him because I thought he hated me, and I think that just is how he acts, like very arrogant and like, uh I don't care about you liking me, but also like, internally like, I need you to like me, and uh, I don't know, because he he wouldn't really be open about his feelings and emotions, not to like anyone around him, maybe some very close people, which makes sense. Like, yeah, and or I felt like whenever he chose to share it, it was to like make people empathize, not necessarily to like share information, but just like get people to feel something for you, so they would have like empathy towards you, like, oh my god, this guy so sad and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, anytime he would bring up something sad, it just felt like he was just like faking something, which kind of is weird of me to say, but I don't know. Anytime he would like cry, it felt like, those people like like, I don't know, like trying to like gauge the the believability of it from others people's perspective or reactions and stuff. Like, I don't know, I just had like a gut feeling like this guy is a fucking boat of crap. And but I had like, I don't know, I felt like I was so out of place. Like, I was in his wedding, and I don't know, I just felt like I was just surrounded by rich people, and like, I don't know, it was very weird, because there were people talking about like stocks and stuff, like, oh yeah, I bought this and that, and like, bro, this is fucking the most boring ass, like, conform to the masses type, like, conversation. Like, what, do you not have any friends, bruh? Like, it I don't know, they seemed like people who were friends with people for like economic benefit. I'm like, bro, that's kind of cringe. Like, I know I'm very cringe like 99% of the time, but like, I don't know, when I say somebody is cringe, that gotta mean something. And yeah, I don't know, I just never felt like I was, I don't I never felt like I belonged there. I just felt like I had to be somebody else to be accepted there, kind of. There was like one guy that I really miss. He didn't die, he just got fired, so basically he died. um and yeah, I don't know, I felt like no matter how much I did, yeah, and that also was because of one of the guys were like constantly saying like, I don't think you're built for this, you're not built for this, you're not good enough. And I'm like, okay, thank you. um okay. And so I have like so many, like, not voices in my head, not like schizophrenia, but like so many, like, I don't know, I just heard his voice over and over in my head. And like, I whenever he moved his chair just to like reposition himself, I would have like panic attacks, kind of. Like, anytime he would just like jump in his chair, like stretch his back, I would just feel like, oh no, he's gonna fucking come and kill me or something. He's gonna fucking beat me up because I haven't done anything in the last 3 hours. And I just felt so bad. And that just got amplified the more tired I got, because I didn't sleep very well. Like, I would drink so much coffee that I just couldn't sleep very well. And he just, I don't know, he would have like um moments where he just acted like, I don't know, he had like an app on his phone where he had like a whip sound effect, and he would go up to people and be like, why aren't you doing this stuff? and then whip them theoretically with the thing. But it was like, I don't know. In my opinion, I felt like he was kind of like verbally abusing me all of the time. Like he was just like the whip was kind of meant as metaphorical, but it was kind of real. It's hard to describe it because it kind of was like he was whipping me because his words were like pain, and I was also like, I don't know. I started to I used to like react very much, like whoa, oh no, oh, like intensely. But then I started just like looking at him and just like having no reaction and just turning around and then hoping he would like take the memo or understand what I meant. But I don't know. I think that just made him even more unsure about himself. And then like, I don't know. I just he like there were so many things that just drained my energy that wasn't even related to work. Like I would get to work having a good day and then I would be drained after like the morning meeting because of like whatever would happen. And so I would just chug down coffee and I would just take more and more medicine, and it wasn't good for my heart probably, but I didn't think about that. I thought about being being valuable in the situation. And then after I had gotten fired, I just, I don't know, I felt so like dishonored. I don't know, I was just like, I felt so empty because everything was just like, okay, I guess I'm just not useful in a business. And then I was like, oh, bro, do I just fucking kill myself or something? Because I don't want to, I don't know, I didn't want to finish my degree because I still hadn't finished my degree when I got fired, because they were like, you can't sit here and learn, you need to give us money basically. Um, and after that, like for half a year, I just didn't touch Blender because I just felt so wronged. Um, but I'm very happy that I did just forget about Blender for quite a while because I picked up painting and working with clay and stuff, and many more physical stuff, even some music. I don't know if that was, yeah, no, that was when I went to the Aurora concert. I think I started. Wait, no, was that? I don't remember. I got the message. I'm gonna check it out afterwards. Um, yeah. Uh, I I don't know. I don't want to get into another 3D business. I just want to make my own little niche, or yeah, I just want to, I don't know, do what I want to, because I also realized that I won't get as much happiness from like doing cool stuff from some for somebody else as I did when I was like naive and saw that, like, oh my god, I can work on a production that's gonna be seen by 100 million people over the entire world. Um, like that was very cool when I didn't know what I liked, or when I thought like, oh yeah, to be a valuable person to society, I need to be in a group of people, and like, yeah, I know it's a lot easier to achieve stuff when you work with people, but for me it's a lot harder to grasp the full like extent of something when there are multiple hands moving stuff, like moving variables. Like when there's like a board of tasks, whenever it changes, my brain just loses all um, like context of it, and I just need to like reprocess the whole thing, and that drains my energy so quickly. And I just couldn't look at those boards because I didn't realize it at that time, because if I had really realized it, it wouldn't make any difference because they wouldn't believe me, or they wouldn't even like, they would just say, ah, but you gotta do it, you gotta just get over that problem, just do it. And so I couldn't even like find ways to do it. I didn't even get any like ability to, I wasn't allowed to like experiment with like how can I achieve this result if I have problems with this, because there was no room for adapting, or no room for adapting the outside to you. There was always like you needed to adapt to the system, and I had problem with that because I don't know, I just couldn't, or at least they made it feel like I just couldn't, because they said like, oh, you just gotta do this, just like in the like last video when I said, oh, it's always people saying just, and it's not only it's not just do this, it's not do this step, only this step, like you don't even need to breathe, you don't even need to raise your hand, you just need to do this step, just this one, nothing else, but you need to do other things to complete that thing. So it's never just do this. Like if I came to the office and they said just do this, and my PC wasn't even turned on, I couldn't even do it because my PC wasn't on, and they didn't say you just do all of these things. They just say one thing, like just say one thing, because it's like simplifying. My autistic brain doesn't understand, bro. Though, so yeah, that's why I feel like I would do best in like maybe not completely alone, but having the ability to like see there is a problem with how my, or there is some way my brain is thinking of this differently. How can I make this difference into a good thing? Because the the problem with working in a place where you can compare yourself to others very easily, you can like see, oh, this person doesn't have this problem, I guess I'm just worse than them, instead of like, okay, I have this problem doing it in this way, how can I do it in a way that actually my brain actually wants to do it. And then if I were to do it in that way, I would probably outcompete the other person doing it in the supposedly correct way. And I've understood that a few times, because I see that there is only the only point of like fitting in is so that everything goes smoothly. But if you try to fit in and everything just goes like janky and like nothing works, that is a sign that maybe you shouldn't try to be like the normal person or like everyone else. Like if you benefit from being normal, like if you work better in a system that's specified for quote unquote normal people, like more mainstream people, then then it might be a good thing for you to keep doing that. But if you work best in a way that is not the norm, then trying to become the norm doesn't really help you much. Like it just might be a roadblock. You might put in 3 times the energy and get out 0.1% of the output. And that often has a tendency to leave people with a feeling of insuperiority, like, oh, okay, I'm putting in so much more energy than this person, and I still can't even come close to achieving anything remotely similar to that person. And that is often why I believe that people who have like autism and stuff aren't necessarily worse or better. It's just a different way of thinking. Like, if you need abstract thinking, like the if you need someone that doesn't just do like everyone else, then a person with like a different brain would be very very handy. But if you need someone to just do the things for you, like do the same as everyone else, like just be a workhorse, then a more neurotypical person might be the one you should get. And like, I don't know, using people incorrectly, like having a neurodivergent person when you should actually have a neurotypical person. I don't know, it's I don't know, it's all business stuff that I just don't understand, I guess, because it's not just have the people do the stuff, it's also like, how do you keep them happy, and how do you give them what they need, instead of just like taking their energy and giving them money. Like, if you just gave people money for their time and just didn't care about having them uh, keeping them in a healthy mindset or mind space, or keeping them healthy, you will burn them up. And I believe that is kind of what they what they did in the place where I worked, because they took in people with zero experience, built them up, uh, and since they had zero experience with like work and stuff, some people had work experience in that field, but often it were people who thought it was a cool idea, like, oh yeah, I want to work with this because it's so cool, and not because they and often I don't know if this is actually true or if I'm just speculating. Defamation case against me. Millions of dollars sued. um no, hopefully not. But yeah, they would like hire people who had little experience and then build them up. And I think it might have been because they would be like, yo, this is so cool, and I don't care about the inhumane working conditions. Maybe they were only inhumane to me because autism makes me not work very efficiently as a normal, quote unquote normal, or in a quote unquote normal way. I don't know. I just don't wanna do that again, I guess. But I'm very happy that I had it. I had the chance. My train of thought just completely vanished. Something about hiring people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't wanna. I don't want people depending on me, because I know that I'm gonna like let them down every now and then, and therefore I don't know. I don't want to end up in a situation where like my like the guy, one of the guys there, he had like a lot of passion for the craft, and then he ended up just doing like boring uh like bureaucracy or whatever, like talking with people, and I don't know. He said that he was upset with it, but I don't know if he actually was, because he hadn't made a thing in like several decades, maybe, or that's at least what I no, maybe in the start. Okay, in like a decade, half a decade, maybe. I don't know. He used to make more stuff, and then I don't know. I never found the things that he showed that he made very interesting. They were always like kind of stale and like boring and stuff. So I wouldn't like. I was never really impressed by the stuff he made. Other people were like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." Maybe because it was cool like way back then, but nowadays it's like a 10-year-old in a third world country can do more with their $2 laptop from Wish. Like, bro, it's not that cool anymore. And he couldn't even, I don't know. I heard from one of this is just speculation because I or hearsay, I don't know. Uh he could make cool stuff, but he did not care about organization and stuff, which also makes a lot of sense for why like the business went so weirdly, I feel, because I don't know, he was also just not mentally present. He was just not. You couldn't, you couldn't like reach him even if you tried. Like I tried to reach him about like some papers I needed for like some help after I got fired, and I couldn't even like. We sent so many emails and so many calls and stuff, and we just ended up having to contact their uh, economy, the people that they outsource their economy to or whatever. Like we had to say that, oh yeah, I worked there one like at a time, and I need these and these papers, and yeah, I don't know, and that was like the same amount of contactability as when I was an employee there. So I don't know. I might have the idea that I don't want to work in the 3D field because it was so poorly organized and like so. Um, I don't know. It might have been all because it might be that I would like a working in a company where they have like respect for the workers and like respect for each other, instead of just like, okay, we need to earn this and this much money, and if not we're going to go bankrupt and you might lose your job then, and so you need to push yourself even further because or else if you will lose your job anyway. So yeah, I don't know, because you won't have a job if it's gone. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I. Nah, you know what? I'm happy I realized at the time. I got a lot of help from like the the government because I'm autistic and ADHD. I got ADHD as well, and I'm also young, and therefore I am still like I'm still viewed as like a good investment to put extra resources into, because if I do end up into like making something, hopefully like I make something that makes me uh, be able to make what I want instead of like having to rely on other people. I don't know, I want to make my own stuff, and if I make something worth a lot of money or whatever, it's still a it might still be worth spending the probably like millions for each person, from like birth to like fully educated and stuff. I don't know. I feel like the system is not set up to work with me. It's set up to work next to me. It's kind of like it if I was in a just slightly different way, it would be better. And I don't know. I feel like if I follow the system, I'm just gonna end up being like a drone in like somebody else's more. Yeah, because if I were to give up on my visions and stuff, I would probably work for somebody who didn't stop looking at their visions or didn't stop going for their visions. And I would just feel very defeated, I think, if I knew that I had so many visions about like what I want to do and what I want to achieve, and then realizing that, oh, I failed, I didn't end up with those things, and like I just sit here and slave away for no reason. This could be done by an AI or whatever. And I don't know, if I'm not happy with what I'm making and I don't even own it, I yeah, I don't know. I also realized that like when I worked where I worked, I didn't own anything that I made. Like I couldn't show people like, oh yeah, this is what I made and stuff, because it was under NDA. And like I don't know, it was very, I don't know, I felt so disconnected from the work. Like I started seeing like, oh shit, this isn't even good anymore. It's just starting to fall apart. And like these businesses were like spending so much money on stuff that like a 10-year-old, I feel like a 10-year-old could do it, at least some of the things. And I know that it's like, since we are in Norway, you gotta pay your workers very handsomely, uh, and that is kind of the opposite of what works in like a 3D style work thing. Because you want to pay, like, to earn more money, you would need to pay as little as you can for everything, like the workers and office and all of that, like all of the all of the things you can spend money on. You need to like spend very little, and you need to have very cheap prices on your products, or like the budget is often very small because business is business. And if a business has very little money, they're not gonna appreciate the extra quality, if there is any extra quality, if it is like 10 times as expensive. Like we would have like, there were people, or you could have like one freelancer do the same thing as we did, I feel. uh, and there was a guy who was a freelancer there or worked there at some point, and then he just quit, and he contacted one of their clients and did it for so much less. And they ended up changing the contract, like the intern contract, uh, because of him. And I'm just like, after a while, like when I started to lose faith, I was like, oh yeah, I see why they did that, because I wouldn't have been able to do any of whatever, because I wasn't really interested in that. I realized after a while that I was more into character creation and stuff, and I really want to like make character based things. But if I had the ambition to make whatever. He was also very into like NFTs and stuff, so he became pretty rich from the NFT boom. So he was stacked, bruh. He was like, I don't know. I think they showed like Lamborghinis and stuff uh, on his Instagram. I don't know. It was like an NFT artist, like actually a talented artist who used NFTs as a way to earn money. Like he was actually a legit artist, and he was super talented. And I think he might even have looked pretty similar to me, which kind of made some of the I feel like some of the people were like, oh yeah, this guy is like this guy, but nah, not probably not actually like that, because I couldn't even unwrap a model that I thought I could in like 5 minutes, because or even just change the mesh of a model. Like, oh yeah, I just fucking turn off subdivision surface modifier. Yeah, that's one click. That's easy. Spends 2 days. Yep. That is like the extent of what I was capable of at the end. Like I couldn't even like switch off a modifier. Maybe I might be over dramatizing it, but yeah, I don't know. It felt like that. Like I would need to do 10 button presses, and 3 hours later I would be like, oh, I can't do this shit. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like some of the things that they made, I might have been able to make if I were like in the right environment, like on my own. I mean, like if I were in the right environment, like if I had the ability to like take one day to just calm my brain, because I do remember it was at a youth club, and they had like it was a place where they had a lot of hobby stuff, and very cool people, and they had food and stuff. And then one day they had like a concert there, and it was so loud. It was like incredibly loud. And the next day, I just couldn't get out of bed because I didn't realize that it was like over stimulation or whatever. Like I was burnt out because of the concert. But I don't know, I just couldn't get to work. Like I couldn't get out of bed because I was just so exhausted. And I didn't realize until like way later. And I was just like, bro, what is wrong with me? Why am I this way? And then I don't know, I just was always in one of those like, I'm the wrong, I am just bad, I just can't do this, because that's basically what they made you feel. Like instead of showing you ways to improve, it was mostly just, oh yeah, okay, this is what you need to do, and then you can't do it, and then you feel bad, and then the next time you get to pick a task, you're like, oh yeah, I can't do this because the last time I wasn't able to do this. I'm not gonna take this because somebody else could do it, and I'm probably gonna spend like 10 days on something that takes 5 minutes for someone else. And so I just took less and less interesting jobs or tasks, and I just ended up having no passion for any of the projects, and all of the things that we did make just looked so bad. Like I remember we made one production for a very huge company, like worth billions of dollars. Like one of the, yeah, it was even viewed by like, I don't know if that was the thing we got like 2 Emmy nominations from, or if it was something else, but it was like hundreds of millions of people around the world were watching. And it was, I don't know, it just looks so bad. Like I've seen so much better stuff, I feel. And I don't know, a lot of it was, I feel like it was because they had a lot of efficient systems that they were constantly using and optimizing, and that was also that was like kind of how they kept it afloat, but it was also what kept it boring, because you would need to just the only thing you needed to do was like do the same things over and over and over again, because the people who had worked there for like 10 years, they were tired of making everything from scratch every time. And that makes sense. Efficiency makes businesses better. uh, but I also realized at that point that efficiency like kills creativity, because it's so hard to think of a creative uh, like out or think of a creative idea if you have to do it with like very strict rules and like the strict methods and stuff. And so you end up just making the same things over and over again, and the same things or as technology progresses, the things you make will just, if you keep making the same things over and over again, it will just look worse and worse, because technology will improve and the capabilities of the technology will improve. But if you keep making the same things, it will just look worse and worse. And since you're working with bigger and bigger clients and more clients at the same time, you need to like jungle no yeah juggle your 3D artists and like concept artists so much that it's like, I don't know, to me it was like incomprehensible, because one day I would have one task and then they would like the next day they would be like, no, okay, we lost this um project because we need to focus on this one. And then the next day they would be like, oh yeah, we got this project, and then now we gotta pause this project for a while. And everything was just it was just like, it felt like those uh um if you've watched, I know one of the people watching these or listening to this have never watched Star Wars, and I might change that someday. But at least on Coruscant, when they have like the on the they have like the flying highways and stuff, that's kind of how everything felt. It's just like so many layers. It's not just the highway. It's just it's it's all like 3D, like it's not just one road. It's a 3D landscape of so many moving parts, and me having problems adjusting to one change. It's just exhausting, and like I just couldn't. I can't work in a environment like that. Whenever one task changes, I need to process that stuff. And if I like, I would have so many days where when I woke up, I was like, okay, this is what I gotta do to work more on that project that I was given, or the task I was given. And then I get to work, and I'm like set on, okay, I gotta do this. I have plans for how to do it. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna drop that project because we lost contact with them. You're gonna do this now. And then I'm like, no, I was so ready. I was gonna, oh my god, why? And then, since people on the autism spectrum often have problems, or I don't know if that's also like ADHD or whatever, but changing tasks, changing projects before you're done, it's practically impossible. Like, the amount of energy you need to put in to just change course. It's like you couldn't even, like, it's trying to flip a car. You could do it if you had like a jack, um car jack or whatever, but you couldn't do it without the help of a jack. So if you were just like, if you weren't given a jack, you would just like basically what I was told was flip this car. And I'm like, no, but I was basically, I had just found the way to flip that boat that you asked me to flip. And now you have, oh my god, I was like 80% done with finding the method or whatever, because they would just give me new and I didn't even know these were problems that I had, because I didn't even know what I had just forgotten about like everything about autism, because I was like, oh no, I don't want to be that person anymore. I just want to be uh, a good person, and I don't want to be autistic. And uh, yeah, I just want to be normal. I want to do what the normal people do. Uh, and so I just compared myself to the normal people and thought like, okay, why? I didn't even think, why is it so hard for me? I was just focused on, this is so hard. How do I? Okay, I just gotta do it because they told me I just gotta do it, and I couldn't. They would just use me in a way that was literally like, it's like trying to fly with a car. You could do it if you mount wings to it and like put like with a leap of faith just drive off a cliff, which is basically what they did. They drove me off a cliff and the wings did not hold, and I just fucking crashed into the ground. And yeah, I don't think I've still recovered fully. Like still get so easily, like I get drained so easily now. Like I do a handful of things and my entire week is just like drained. Or yeah, I need to like, I don't know, I get so, but that might also be because I don't drink any more coffee, or only like every now and then if I need a boost for like a single day. Any more than 3 days in a row and I start hating my brain again, because everything just goes so slow afterwards, and I'm just incapacitated. I think I struggled with that word in last one too. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not built like the normal people. I'm built like me. And if I try to do what the normal people do, I'm gonna have a harder time than if I do what's good for my own brain. And that is also one of the reasons for why I feel like I should follow my own dreams, and I should try my best and find ways uh, of achieving my goals. Um, because right now I don't really know. I have some theories of like, okay, maybe if I do this and that, but I don't know anything. Like I've always had problems seeing the intermediate step of like not 5 to 10 years in the future, and not like tomorrow, like anything between tomorrow, no, anything between like 1 week ahead and like 5 years ahead. It's just basically just going with the flow. And I'm very good at going with the flow, I feel, because I end up places, I end up in the right places at the right times, basically all the time. And all the time, all the times that I've been like uh, really like down and felt like, oh, there's no point in anything because nothing is gonna go good. And like being like on the bottom of my uh, whatever. And I feel like all the time like afterwards, I'm kind of like um, I'm kind of given opportunities that were like never thought of as possible, and like positive things. And so I've just begun, or I've had, like, ever since, I think, even when I was diagnosed with something. I don't remember if it was autism or the ADHD. Because autism, I was diagnosed at age 8, and ADHD at 15. Uh, and I remember being in the same place where I got diagnosed with autism, where someone asked me if I was depressed, and my mom was right next to me. Or no, they asked if I had thoughts about killing myself, and my mom was right next to me. So I was like, no, no, I don't. And I also said that uh, anytime I have, or it's something about like I'm hopeful for the future or whatever, but I feel like I kind of knew that when things, like the badness, goes down, opportunities will find me that are like things that I could never even imagine, and things that I become very happy for when when I exit that bad uh, place of mind. And yeah, I often feel like I have some kind of guardian angel, because there are so many like weird times that, like, I either meet a random person that somehow has connections with someone who then can like something, and then because I walked because I waited for the light to turn green instead of running over the thing, I got too late to the bus, and then because I got too late for that bus, I ended up on the same bus as this other person, and then we started talking, and then uh, turns out they had this going on, and I start talking with them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, if you want to join, then here," and then I joined that, and like stuff like that, like random encounters with people that I either know or don't know, and then my ability to just like open up with or two people, like becoming comfortable. Like I people say I have like the golden retriever type energy, and I I do see that. Um, and I was also like really heavily on like people pleasing before, and then I started to realize like, okay, I can like tune it down a little bit, because I'm like exhausting myself for others without even getting anything in return. So I've kind of like trained, or yeah, I've been balancing it out, like seeing that, okay, I should prioritize myself over a complete stranger, but sometimes it is helpful to have the over, like the being having more energy than the budget of whatever, and then being able to spend that on a random person if I so choose, instead of thinking that everyone just wants to waste my energy, and everyone is just in the way, and that I should like be uh, ignoring everyone, because I don't want to ignore random people, because sometimes you never know when you will find like the maybe the best person. I don't believe in like a best person, because that would make it harder to let go if they end up being a bad person after all. And I don't want to like hold on to anyone who is actually a really bad person, because I have I've had that issue before. I used to get bullied by this guy in my school, and I don't know why, but we ended up being friends again during every like break, like every break between the classes, like recess. I don't know the time, the 15 minutes between classes where you go outside and run and like punch each other and stuff. Um, yeah, we used to get like, he would like offend me or like do something bad towards me, and then the next like recess we would be friends again, and then he would do bad things repeatedly, like all the time, and he would just be like a shit person. And I don't know why I gave him so many second chances, and there that is still kind of to this day. I still believe in like giving people enough chances to like change, because a person won't change after like one attempt. Like they won't change because they did one thing bad that one time, and then okay, this time I might give them a chance. But if they can't, if they haven't changed 100% this other time, I'm just gonna never give them another chance, because it takes time and takes effort to change, and therefore I I like giving people like second a billion chances, so like a billion second chances. Um, and that has been a problem, because I just never stop thinking that a person could improve. Um, but I have realized that like, okay, this person could improve their being, but they don't seem like they are doing it, or they don't seem like they need to, and they don't seem like they put any effort into it, and I don't see me like benefiting anything from giving them any second chances. Then I've started to like see that okay, I'm spending way too much energy investing in this person that is probably not going to be paying out or paying back, which might seem like psychopath, like, oh, this person does not give me anything back, and like valuing them as like valuing them based on like potential value in the future. Like I don't know, it might sound a little weird, it might sound autistic, it might sound completely normal, I don't know. um but yeah, I don't know, it's yeah, I'm gonna go take a piss and a shower. I've, okay, this is a little bit longer video. 10 minutes over the longest one, I think. Yeah, those are my thoughts for the moment. I know I started this about like jealousy and stuff, and just spiraled into like my past and stuff, I guess. But to if you forget the past, you will forget the future. Something about that. Now, if I forget about how bad it was at that place, I might end up in a similar situation someday, because I see like, oh shit, this person has so much cool stuff, and they also worked in, or they work in a place, and then I'm like, oh, can I work here as well? And like, oh yeah, okay, and then I end up there, and then I see like, oh shit, this is all just like people, uh people being like mistreated and stuff. But it might be that I have a really like bad vision or bad view of that kind of stuff, and that it's not actually that bad. And the fact that they told me that every other business was like 10 times worse might be a way to keep, might have been like meant as to keep me there and not to like jump to another place. I don't know. I will figure stuff out with time and reflection, because just time does not mean that you will discover something. It takes both time and introspection. You need to think about it and like like realize problems and like solutions and stuff. It's You won't get more wise just by becoming older. You become wiser by thinking and observing and doing. And yeah, you won't, an 80-year-old could be just as wise as a 20-year-old. The only difference is the amount of things that has happened. You could still be 20-year-old in the head or acting 20-year-old at the age of 80, but you could also not. If you like see that, if you can recognize that time won't make you smarter, won't make you wiser, and won't make you a better person. It's only like time will only reinforce what you already are doing. Like if you do the things more and more times, if you just keep doing the same things, it will just reinforce whatever you're already doing. But reflecting and like realizing where your mistakes are and trying to see what you can change and what ways you can alter your mindsets and stuff, that is how you become a wiser, more capable, maybe, I don't know. That's how you become a different person, not with time. You won't change just because of time passing by. You will stay the same, or maybe become even more of yourself if time passes. If you just let time pass by and think that time is all it will need to change you. Because time is just an external thing. It's not internal like your thoughts and your actions. Time is forever moving, and you can move through time and be stuck personally, like being stuck in the past, or even just stuck in the now, not able to like realize why you do the problem, why you have the issues that you have, and blaming other people. And until you start blaming, no, instead, until you stop blaming people and start to realize that, okay, these problems aren't always about other people, they are actually about problems that I have. But since I see that there are my problems and not everyone else being a problem, I can change by doing this or doing that, or I can change my view on stuff, and that can like improve my living satisfaction. Because a lot of people think that like, oh, everything is so unfair, and yeah, everything is unfair. And me saying that as a very like ultra spoiled rich kid. I'm not rich, but I live in a country that's like really rich, and like technically I own like several Teslas, because like 20 Teslas, because the oil wealth fund is like enormous. but it's, I don't know, I I don't really have problems like the rest of the world. I don't have like starvation. I don't need to like starve. I don't need to like worry about much family stuff. I have a very good life, I feel. And me saying that like, oh, I'm I don't know, I feel like whenever I've felt like depressed, I've kind of gotten a little embarrassed about it afterwards, because I'm like, why am I depressed? I'm just like, I live in like the best place basically, and have so many like good things. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel I'm making everything up, and like, bro, it might also just be the society trying, me trying to be fit into society while society doesn't want me. The society wants like specific, or this is what I feel like, society wants a specific type of person with specific qualities, and if you don't work like that, you need extra help to become that, instead of embracing who you are and what your strengths are. You need help to be more like that person that society wants. And that is why I don't like, I do like that, um like, tilrettelegging is what it's called in Norwegian. Like, if you need extra help, like special education and stuff, like you need external help to become a person that is more usable in this society, instead of being more like you, and like seeing what you are good at, because society doesn't society I don't know, I feel like if everyone, well, not, society works by like people being kind of being able to do the work of a few people's ideas. And I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like autistic people are like more of more meant for like ideas and stuff. I don't want to just be idea man. I want to be a idea and create man. Um, but I don't want to be just a create man. I would rather be an idea and create man than just either of them. Like either idea, because I don't want to be the the visionary who can't do anything themselves. Like the people who say like, oh, I am a talker. No, what, I am a visionary. I'm an ideas man. I'm not a doer man, because that's just delusional. Because like, you need to be able to do. You need to be able to understand the processes that you need other, or in my opinion, you need to understand stuff to have ideas that are doable. Because if you just say, yeah, we gotta do this, and then somebody is like, oh, okay, this is not a good idea, but okay, you pay me at least. I'm not gonna say anything, and then it just doesn't work. Or sometimes it works. Maybe I don't. I can't come up with ideas for when it works, and I can't come up with ideas for why it when it doesn't. So I'm just speaking out my asshole. It's farting sounds. Um, but yeah, I don't like well, I do like our society because it's very, or the Norwegian society at least, because it is nice. It's very safe and comfortable, maybe too comfortable. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy that I live where I live. I'm very fortunate to have the things that I have, and that I don't have to like struggle with basically anything. Like, I don't really have any real problems. It's just like interpersonal problems. Like, they're very real to me, but like in the grand scheme of things, they're actually just like, I don't know. I feel like I live the perfect life in the in one of the worst ways, kind of things, because I don't know. I do live very well, like really well, in my opinion, and then I also feel like I'm completely useless to society. Because like, I don't want to I don't want to be the drone that does the things. I want to create something new. I want to create something that's more me than just how can I make society go around. And yeah, maybe in like 10 years I look back at this and like, yo, I did it, fuck yeah. And then I'm like looking back at this like, yo, that's so cringe, why did I even think that? But right now I do think these things, and looking back at it in like 10 years, it's more genuine than like trying to think like, okay, what's not cringe to say? Because if you think like what is cool to say, that it's not genuine, you're not being genuine, and that's kind of, I don't know. I like, I want to be more genuine, because genuinity, I don't know, not being genuine, who are you benefiting? Are you benefiting everyone else or yourself? Because you're not being true to yourself, and you're not being true to others. So you're just putting this fake image out to the world, and like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would be happy being like disingenuous. And I don't think I would be happy if I was that towards myself either. Yeah, I'm very thirsty, so I'm just gonna go and take a shower because hydration through the skin. Yeah, I don't know. I'm also very sweaty. All of this from one guy joining a Discord server. Goodbye.